Good afternoon. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
A quick recap of the previous class. In the previous class, we discussed about the differential and instrumentation amplifiers and what is the basic requirement for differential amplifiers. Also, we studied about different ways the power supply can be connected to the bridge to minimize the errors. So in the differential amplifiers, how exactly the differential amplifiers, the input impedance and the gain functions, and how the common mode rejection ratio plays an important role. And to get the high common mode rejection ratio, this R1, R2, R3, R4 resistors can be adjusted in such a way that, or the ratios can be maintained like this: R4 by R3 is equal to R2 by R1, which is equal to K. By maintaining this, we can reduce the common mode gain and hence increase the differential gain. This in turn increases the common mode rejection ratio. Now the overall common mode rejection ratio, how it can be taken when two op amps are used. The output op amp and the effective common mode rejection can be made equal to inverse of this. This formula can be used in case of finding out the overall common mode rejection ratio. So with this background of common mode rejection ratio and differential amplifiers, we'll go ahead with instrumentation amplifiers. And instrumentation amplifiers, we know that basically the op amps are used in building instrumentation amplifiers. You have two op amp instrumentation amplifiers, three op amp instrumentation amplifiers which are commonly used. Now, what is the basic difference between these two? And what is the significance of these instrumentation amplifiers in any sensing or in general any system design? So first let us see what is an instrumentation amplifier. It is basically a special type of amplifier, or it is basically a configuration of op amps in a specific mode. Two or three operational amplifiers connected in a specific fashion to achieve the desired common mode rejection ratio or to achieve specific gain of weak signals. In other words, we can define instrumentation amplifiers as a type of amplifier that is used to amplify signals of extremely low level. Extremely low level in the sense even they can be of the order of microvolts as well, or even lesser than that, which is not possible in case of our regular amplifiers where the signal level should be around few millivolts or volts. Whereas in case of instrumentation amplifiers, we can amplify the signals of the order of few microvolts or even lesser level. That performs amplification of difference input signals. Now, what exactly we mean by difference input signals is basically op amps have two input terminals, inverting and non-inverting. When simultaneously two input signals are given, the difference voltage between the two terminals gets amplified. So this is the meaning of difference input signals. So always in op amps, it is the difference signals which are amplified. That is why we use the term difference gain. In case of common mode rejection ratio also, our definition is ratio of difference gain to common gain. So when two different inputs are given at the two input terminals of the op amp, that gets amplified. So that is the meaning of difference input signals and difference gain. So basically these consists of differential amplifier stages. Now why differential amplifiers? We will see little later. They have got several advantages. So with this definition, we'll see what is the importance of this first stage of any system design and why these instrumentation amplifiers are used in the first stage. So in the first stage, basically, immediately after the sensor is sensed or after the sensor element is connected, it senses the signal. It can be in the form of voltage or in the form of current, or it can be variation in the resistance, which in turn gets converted to either voltage or current. So all these are possible because we are using the op amp or the operational amplifier, which can be used to convert the sensed parameter into either voltage or current, because we have different op amp configurations where a voltage signal can be converted to current, voltage to current converter, or current to voltage converter. So all these are possible with op amp configurations. So in the first stage, when you are using instrumentation amplifier, first thing is it is designed to amplify very low level signals or very weak signals. So op amp is sufficient to improve the signal strength or amplify it to the required level. And also when the signal is sensed, it may contain several noise signals. So these noise signals have to be stopped from reaching the next stage. That is very well achieved in case of instrumentation amplifiers if it is used in the first stage. So basically, as it consists of differential amplifier, it is not only a single differential amplifier, it has different stages in it of differential amplifiers. And in each stage, the unwanted signals are clipped off or removed. So as a result of this, the output which comes out of this first stage is simply a pure or near to pure signal which doesn't have any spurious noise signals. When you don't have any spurious noise signals, it is very easy to amplify this signal and get the desired output, which can be fed very easily to the next stage, usually a analog to digital converter. So what are the advantages of this? So instrumentation amplifiers are precision type amplifiers, integrated op amps that have differential input and single-ended or differential output. Now the single-ended or double-ended, basically you can use this op amp in a single-ended mode or in a double-ended mode. Always all the stages need not be of differential type. What I mean by this differential type here is, like, you need not always connect both the inputs. One can be with the proper resistance grounded and only one terminal can be provided with the signal. So you can have multiple stages where which stage is desired, you can go ahead with that. Once you minimize the noise signals in the difference amplifier stage, the output of this difference amplifier stage can be a single-ended op amp stage, which helps in matching the input and output impedances, also helps in improving the gain and maintains the proper reference voltage level. So these are the basic advantages, and also it is precision type. So the least level signals also can be amplified, and integrated differential stage. At least one differential stage is definitely available here because it reduces the noise. Some of their key features include very high common mode rejection ratio. This is applicable to any op-amp. High open loop gain. Again, it is applicable to any op-amp circuit. Low DC shift, especially in case of these instrumentation amplifiers. This DC shift or DC offset is minimized by the configuration itself. This we will see in the next slide. Low drift, this has to be low output impedance, not input impedance. So low output impedance. Low output impedance and low noise. So these are the basic advantages of any op-amp circuit. They need not be common, specific to instrumentation amplifier, and when they are used in the instrumentation amplifier, these qualities get enhanced. So what are the disadvantages? These are the list of advantages. Now what are the disadvantages? Basically, when they amplify the low level signal, usually they are used for long distance communication. When they are used over long distance communication, there is always a possibility of noise getting added at different stages. So this noise may suppress the original transmitted signal. This is one biggest disadvantage of these instrumentation amplifiers. So what is done is usually at regular intervals, amplification of the transmitted signal is carried out to overcome this disadvantage. So with this understanding of instrumentation amplifiers, we'll see why and what are the basic qualities of these instrumentation amplifiers, or rather the op-amps which are used in instrumentation amplifiers. Basically all the amplifiers, always we say that basic characteristic of these op-amps is they should have high input impedance and low output impedance. Now why this requirement is there? What happens if these parameters are reversed? What happens if these two are not met? What is the impact of these parameters on the next stages? So first thing, as we all know, the high input impedance ensures that it draws very little current from the circuit, so that all the voltage which is there available at the previous circuit end is made available across this particular op-amp device or the amplifier device. When most of the voltage is made to drop across the device, there is every possibility that these op-amps amplify the voltage signals. They are basically voltage driven. So they amplify the voltages. So when most of the voltage from the previous circuit is dropped across these amplifiers, naturally the amplification of the, it is no longer weak now. So more voltage is getting dropped and it is proportionately getting amplified. So here you can achieve higher voltage gains by this. If the input impedance of the amplifiers is high, then the voltage dropped across them at the input side is very, very high. As a result, the voltage amplification happens and desired gain can be achieved. This happens because the circuit is not drawing any current, or the amplifier circuit is not loading. It is not drawing any current, or no current is getting flowing through the device. Similarly, low output impedance is another basic requirement or characteristic of these op-amps. What happens again if the low impedance is at the output? If there is low output impedance, more current starts flowing through the circuit. So in the output section, more current flows, not in the device, because already the input impedance is very, very high. So it does not allow any current to flow through the device, but in the output side, more current is made to flow because the impedance is low. So these are perfectly matched. High input impedance, which makes the voltage to drop across it, more voltage to drop across it, and no current is drawn. Whereas on the output side, more current is made to flow and no voltage drops. So there is no wastage of the voltage. Entire current starts flowing through the output circuit. So as a result of this, the power transfer from one end to another end is very, very easy, and in the device, there is no power absorption. So there is no power wastage in the device because of this matching of the high input impedance and low output impedance. So these are the basic qualities of your instrumentation amplifiers, which are similar to our op-amp. See, there is an announcement for you all. From today, you are supposed to give your attendance and write down your USN after you log in anytime. Not logging in anytime, you are supposed to give your attendance, and this has to be reported to HOD on daily basis. Please note this. Am I audible? Type your USN here. Please inform your classmates as well regarding this attendance. Yeah, next we'll move to instrumentation amplifiers based on two op-amps. Usually instrumentation amplifiers are represented by this letter IA, capital IA, and input and output amplifiers as small ia. Suffix small ia represents input amplifier, small oa represents output amplifier, and any other specific suffixes if you are using, I will explain them as and when we come across. So here the instrumentation amplifier based on two op-amps is shown. Now how exactly, what is the configuration, you can check here. So basic idea of all these instrumentation amplifiers is to give difference inputs. Now difference input means two inputs are given here, and the output whatever is generated is the difference of these two signals getting amplified by the gain of the op-amp. Now here V1 and V2 are the two signals which are to be given to these, or the difference voltage. You can imagine even the output of the bridge where the difference voltage is getting generated. One end is connected to minus terminal and one end is connected to plus terminal, or inverting and non-inverting terminals respectively. So you can imagine the bridge output where the imbalance, that voltage is nothing but the difference voltage which is connected here as I mentioned just now in that fashion. So depending upon the gain of the op-amp or the feedback resistor whatever you have connected here, that divided by the input gives you the difference gain. Now how exactly the calculations are here? We'll see. Here there is a reference voltage. Now this reference voltage is basically connected to produce the output here, the difference output between reference and the input that is produced here at the first point. This itself is difference voltage. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the difference output basically suppresses the noise signals and enhances the actual signals. And also, it helps in eliminating the offset, or any drifts in the voltage are there, they can be eliminated using the difference signal. This we have discussed in the earlier classes where the op-amp prerequisites I discussed, what is drift, what is offset. So now this difference voltage whatever is produced, that is given to the next stage, and here the difference voltage between the first stage output and the second voltage that is produced. So in general it is with respect to V reference, the voltages V1 and V2 which are to be sensed or whose signal levels are to be amplified are connected in this fashion. And what output voltage you get here is going to be the difference voltage getting amplified by this. Now in the first stage, see here it is connected in the feedback resistor R3 and R4 is the input resistance. So if only you have inverting voltage connected here, only Vref connected, then what would be the gain? R3 by R4 with a minus sign into Vref. But because you have V1 also connected here, what will be the gain here? The total output whatever is coming here will be equal to, say assume VO1, the output of the first stage is equal to Vref into R3 by R4 with a minus sign plus, because of this, plus 1 plus R3 by R4 into V1. So this is the effective voltage which is available here into the gain of the op-amp. That gives you the actual output here. The feedback gain with the difference AD divided by 1 plus AD into beta factor, that gives you the effective gain of this particular stage. Now this output whatever VO1 minus V2 will be the actual input available here at the difference terminals. So now this time the inverting gain is minus R2 by R1 and non-inverting gain is 1 plus R2 by R1. So similar to this whatever equation I give, similar to that here, the output voltage VO will be VO1 minus V2 and this gain. So R2 by R1 is for inverting and R1 plus R2 by R1 into V2 will be the gain for this terminal. So this is how we generate the total output. But what happens in this case is, Why this two-stage one is not used is because if all these resistors are not properly matched, in the sense the self-heating factor of all these is not matched, then this may not give us the noise suppression required. So due to self-heating, the thermal noise which gets added here may weaken the signals which are already weak here. The V1 and V2 signals, if they have noise levels, they are not suppressed sufficiently. So a slightly improved version to suppress the noises produced, plus also the effect of these resistors to suppress that, a 3 op amp instrumentation amplifier is used, which is most widely used in any system design. So what is this 3 op amp based instrumentation amplifier? Just see the configuration here. So V1 is the one of the inputs and V2 is another input. Both of them are connected to non-inverting terminal, and inverting terminal where R2 and R2, the equal value resistors, are used as feedback. That means both the signals V1 and V2 are amplified equally, and your input resistor is also common here, so that whatever impact of self-heating or any other resistance related issues or noise generated, it is applied equally to both the op amps. So when it is applied equally to both the op amps, whatever addition or subtraction is happening, it is happening with both the stages or both the inputs which you are giving here. So the next thing is, here R3, R3, R4, R4 are the next stage input and feedback resistors. Now how exactly they help? Also, there is a reference voltage which is used in the last stage where already the noise suppression happens in this case, and this signal again it produces the different signal with respect to the reference voltage. So final output what you get here is already with low drift as well as low DC offset, or rather you can say DC offset is reduced to completely zero, and the noise signals because of this configuration, the first two op amps, it is reduced to zero. So we'll see this with equations. So the outputs of the first stage are, see here, if you assume that VA is the first stage output, how much is VA? VA basically is due to V1, which is connected to non-inverting terminal, and also V2 is indirectly connected to the first op amp as well, not alone to second op amp, it is connected to first op amp as well. Similarly, V1 is also connected to second op amp. How exactly? See, you can see here there is an input resistor. Through this input resistor, some part of the input V2 gets connected to the first op amp as well. See here V2 is connected, and by the principle of virtual ground, whatever V2 is getting applied, this is available at the inverting terminal of second op amp as well. This second op amp, this terminal, behaves like a source of input to the second, this op amp inverting terminal through resistor R1, that is the input resistance which behaves like input resistance. Through this resistance, it is connected to the inverting terminal of first op amp. Getting the point? Here when it is directly connected to this point is also at V2. This V2 is connected to this through the resistor R1. So what is the gain? Here it is connected to the inverting terminal. So what is your VA? So effectively this first op amp is getting the difference voltage from V1 and V2. So whatever difference voltage here it is available, that is going to get amplified and available as VA. Similarly, at VB also, V1 is connected here through this resistor, and R2 and R2 are the gains for both the op amps. So VB is simultaneously getting V1 and V2, and VA is also the output due to V1 and V2. Only thing here, V1 is directly connected to non-inverting terminal. So the gain here of this V1 is 1 plus R2 by R1 into V1. And here it is coming from inverting terminal. So minus R2 by R1 into V2. So VA is equal to, you can see here, VA is equal to V1, which is connected to non-inverting terminal of the top op amp. So gain is 1 plus R2 by R1, and V2 is coming through R1 from the inverting terminal, or it is connected to inverting terminal. So the gain will be minus V2 into R2 by R1. Similarly, your voltage VB, where from V2 source, or rather V2 source is connected to non-inverting terminal. So the gain here is 1 plus R2 by R1 into V2 minus the other voltage which is coming from V1, which is connected to inverting terminal. So that gives us the gain of minus V1 into R2 by R1. So VA and VB both are going to get the inputs from both V1 and V2. Only thing, one is at the inverting, the other one is coming from the non-inverting. So that the noises or the drifts or any offsets connected here, automatically they get reduced. They are almost nullified. So this is the explanation for these two op amps. And what is there in the third stage, or rather in the third op amp? Now once you know VA and VB, here they are connected to minus and plus terminals. So here actually what comes? These two are equal value resistors. So VA and VB, same portion here is connected to inverting and non-inverting terminals. So VA minus VB will be the input available here, and R4 is the gain of this, and this reference voltage is also connected through R4. So what is received by this non-inverting terminal here is V reference or VB. So the comparison here happens with this V reference, and already the signals which produced here are VA and VB are low drift and low DC offset signals. So these already they will have reduced the noise in the first two op amps, or in the first stage of the instrumentation amplifier. In this stage, exclusively the comparison with V reference and amplification takes place. So amplification of low noise signal or suppressed noise signals takes place. So here almost you get a good pure signal which has less number of noise components. So this is a fully differential amplifier where one's plus of this and one's minus of this both are getting differential. Here this is a differential amplifier stage where already fully differential amplifier outputs are coming here. So twice this differential amplifier stage results in zero noise signals. So here the second stage of this. What is the second stage? VO minus V reference. Now what is your VO? See, this is your VO. This is minus V reference. Why VO? because here it is fed and here another terminal is V reference. So VO minus V reference and they are fed through the same resistor R4. So here what is available will be VO minus V reference or VB minus VE, which are coming from the first two op amps, into R4 divided by R3. Why R4 divided by R3? Because R4 by R3 is the gain. And here what is available is VA and VB. VB minus VA because VB is the non-inverting terminal voltage and VA is the inverting terminal voltage. So the difference voltage here available is VB minus VA into R3 by R4 by R3. So this is equal to, so if you simplify them or if you express in terms of the inputs V2 by V2 and V1, what you get is VB minus VA when you do. Here VB is the non-inverting terminal input and VA. So when you do VB minus VA, VB minus VA, what you get is V2 into 1 plus R2 by R1 minus of minus V2 into R2 by R1. That makes this V2 into 1 plus 2R2 by R1. Similarly, here 1 plus 2R2 by R1, which is common for both V2 and V1, into R4 by R3 is the gain, this factor gain, and simply V2 minus V1. So what you are getting here is V2 minus V1 into gain of the last stage or the second stage and gain of the first stage, the double gain of the first stage. So naturally the amplification is very, very high. Plus the difference voltage is V2 minus V1 with suppressed noises are getting amplified by this particular factor. So here the gain is increased. Multiple times the gain is increased. So this is the advantage of instrumentation amplifiers. So with the help of 3 op amps and 2 stages of differential amplifiers, we get successfully the difference amplification with high gain. And because of this configuration, even the input and output impedance here, see the input impedance and output impedance here, they are matched. Plus when the matched one comes here at this stage of input, again maximum voltage gets transferred or delivered to this particular stage. And here it has low output impedance. So more current is produced and that can be converted to voltage. So this helps in multiple gain, helps in increasing the gain or amplification of very low or weak signals. So this is the configuration. If you use single one, you don't have the advantage of suppressing the noise or minimizing the noise signals or reducing the DC offset and drift. Here when you are using this in difference combination, 2 stages of differential amplifiers, they minimize all these unwanted or spurious signals and help in amplifying the very low or weak signals. What is the CMRR of the instrumentation amplifier? Basically, it depends upon matching of the resistors. So R1, R2, R3, R4. In the previous class, we have seen in differential amplifier where the ratio R4 by R3 should be equal to R1 by R2 is equal to K. Same thing holds good here as well. So resistor matching and output amplifier CMRR, that is in the second stage. So basically the CMRR of the instrumentation amplifier depends upon resistor matching and CMRR of the output stage, that is this stage. This output amplifier stage, it depends upon that. Then another parameter is matching of input op amps. Now what exactly mean by matching of input op amps is here properly the op amps should have, both these op amps should be matched in every aspect. Now, what I mean by every aspect is input and output impedances, the bandwidth, the gain factor, the open loop gain factor. If these are matched, then whatever the additional resistors we connect, if they are of the equal values, then there should not be any problem in getting high CMRR for this setup. And the final CMRR is dependent on this op amp as well. So like this, we can make high CMRR instrumentation amplifiers, which can increase the signal strength of the weak signals as weak as of the order of few microvolt. You can imagine here R2 and R1, if you take 10K and 1K or some 100 ohm, then put it in this equation. R2 by R1 gives you 1000 plus 1, and again one more R4, another 1000. So 1000 into 1000 gives me how much? No, this will become 2000. 2000 into 1000 will become how much? 2 mega. So 2 mega into whatever is the voltage difference. If this is of the order of microvolts, this mega and micro, they get cancelled, and finally your output will be in volts. Very easily you can achieve high order gains with the help of instrumentation amplifiers. And already you have suppressed the noise signals, so there is not going to be any issue associated with the noise or drifts. You have taken care of DC offset with the help of the first differential stage. If there is any DC offset present in this, with the help of this reference and adjustment, you can minimize that as well, so that in the final output, you don't get any offset related issues if the configuration is like this. That is why this 3 op amp based instrumentation amplifiers are very, very commonly and popularly used for weak signal amplification. Now the interference we will take up in the next class.